Well, as expected, a very, very hard game, very physical. They threw everything at us. I mean, both teams have pretty much played everybody at this point. But there will continue to be adjustments throughout. Guys did a great job of keeping pressure in the game. The fans were fantastic. We had some really good individual performances, but when you're in a playoff series, when you win, your celebrations got to be pretty short, and you got to keep focusing. So that'll be our task. And then Tuesday, I have an idea of what's coming then as far as their crowd and everything. So important win. So we'll get ready for Tuesday.
Rick, numerically, your defense was much better in the second half. What was key in turning that around from halftime and pushing forward to win this one?
Well, our pressure wasn't where it needed to be in the first half. We were able to pick it up in the second half at halftime, and it helps. It helps. So we got to keep adjusting to what's going on with their team. They're changing things up. They're playing different guys. They're doing different schemes, and we've got to keep abreast of it and keep trying to counter.
Coach, just seeing how Brook Lopez tends to hang back in the paint, why has Myles been so effective as a floor spacer and kind of an X factor for you during his first 4 games?
Well, I thought both of those guys played amazing games. Lopez was spectacular, and so was Myles. And it was a great battle between the two of them. I mean, Lopez is 14 for 18 from the field. As expected, some significant post activity, and I don't think he missed in the first half. In the second half, we did better, and he missed a couple. But he drew some fouls too, and so, we gotta keep braced for what's coming from him, and then, so just hard series.
Rick, how much of a challenge was it to convince your guys that Milwaukee was still a dangerous team despite the guys that weren't playing? And how did you think they responded?
Well, we had a pretty candid talk about it at 4 o'clock when we met in the locker room before our prep. And, I pointed out the same things I pointed out to you guys, that the 5 starters, all of them had, with the exception of Beverly, who'd scored 26 in the game earlier this year, all of them had scored 30 or more at least once. And so, Lopez had 39, Portis had 31 twice. We know what Middleton did here the other night with 42. And, Beasley had 30 in one game. So, Beasley had another big night tonight. So, just trying to keep our guys ready for what's coming, because, you can only do so much, and they have to experience it and go through it. But this experience is very valuable, and we've done some good things, and there's some things we certainly need to do better.
The Portis situation, how did that change the dynamic of the game?
Well, it ramped up the intensity of the overall game. It didn't make the game any easier in my mind. And I think Portis is a very underrated player. But credit to them, when they lost one of their weapons, they kept their level high. And it was a 3 or 5 point game at halftime, and it was a lot of continued work in the second half to get the win. So, as far as, I didn't see a replay of what happened or anything, so I don't know anything other than what the officials told me and right afterwards.
Rick, the three-point shooting was dramatically better than it was the other night. Is there anything getting better shots, or you can attribute that number to tonight?
we just got to stay with, our process of doing the things that we're stressing defensively, trying to stay close to everybody and do it without fouling, running as best we can. And I haven't looked at the film yet, obviously, but it seemed like we got into the paint more tonight than we did in the second game. And when you get in there, you tend to get some better looks. But I can't really give you a great answer. The shot making in the NBA is an up and down thing. But the defense and the intensity and the togetherness are things that we can control. So we're trying to control those as best we can and just keep stepping into the shots are the ones to step into.
Coach, they were hanging around in that first half. What was the message in halftime to instill the importance of getting out to a strong start in that third quarter?
Well, there were some things happening, and there was some complaining to the officials a few times by our guys. And the first thing I did at halftime was point out that the fouls were 7-7. And this is a very well officiated game and very consistent, and that we need to focus our energy on each other and the things that we need to do to make it tough on Milwaukee and get it off the officials. This time of year, you're not getting anything cheap. You're not getting anything cheap. And I thought, beginning of the second half, we made a better adjustment to shift our focus a little bit, and obviously, going into Game 5, similar. It's got to be very much the same.
Ty, I'll start with you, especially numerically. You guys were much better in the second half than the first half defensively, and picked it up on offense as well. What was key at halftime to turning your favors in this game?
Just playing harder. Understanding that, they're going to come in here and they're going to play hard, especially down, two of their guys, and they got a lot of guys banged up. So, they got a lot of different guys stepping up. Jackson, Beasley played more today. They just got other guys that got to, chip in for them. So, they were desperate. They wanted that win. And so for us, we just, I thought we weathered that punch weathered the
Storm.
the storm. My bad use of words. I thought we weathered that storm really well and just figured it out.
Myles, the dunk. Where does that one rank for you in your career, especially it being a playoff game, and what were you seeing in that moment?
Obviously it's up there, but for me personally, I was just joking with my teammates. I feel like every postseason I get one of these, man, just since I've been in the league. So it's nothing new for me. I tell them all the time, like, I'm not dunking during the regular season, but, postseason I'll be straight. So I got my legs right, just saw an opening, and was able to make a great play.
Myles, I think after Game 3 you talked about your ego and how you let that go a long time ago, and just seeing how your floor spacing has been kind of the X factor, especially how, Brooke defends in the paint. Why has that been so important for you guys over these first 4 games?
Well, I think after that first game, we watched a lot of film and just saw, some of the holes in the defense and realized that there were open spots, for us to exploit. So a lot of it for me is just read and react, which is pretty much what our offense is. And, I've been shooting, threes my entire life, man. I think I didn't really shoot too many in college or coming into the league, but I've always been capable, and I put in a lot of work, to get to where I need to be. So, just continue to keep putting my work in, and, the results will show.
Myles, what did it feel like to hear the crowd chanting your name there in the fourth quarter and then hit that three while they're chanting your name?
Yeah, that was special. I didn't realize I hit the three while they were chanting my name. I saw that afterwards, but that was very special, just knowing how much, the city means to me, and, they reciprocated that love. So it was a dope moment for me. It's definitely up there, and I got to it in front of my family, and it was a very special moment for me. But, we'll celebrate tonight. We got to get back to it, right back to it tomorrow. We still have one more game to win, and, never too high, never too low.
Myles, 7 of 9 from three-point range. How are you able to stay within yourself? And it looked like all the fundamentals were right on your shot this evening.
Same thing, film work. So I saw, some film of myself past couple games where, my form wasn't the right way. Was leaning too much. I was backing out of shots. So, I studied a lot. I have my team up here with me. My trainer and my two guys that work for me as well. And we spent a lot of time just trying to hone in my craft. And I was able to get hot tonight. And, hopefully, like I said, keep doing this throughout the entire playoffs.
Tyrese, how much time did Rick spend trying to convince you guys that this was a dangerous team, despite the fact they were missing two of their top people?
I just think it was a point of emphasis. I think we got to understand, like, all year we've struggled when teams miss, their guys, and that's kind of been the story of our season, losing ones that were, quote unquote, supposed to win. And I think that, just looking at this, it could have been, like some call it a trap game of some sorts of, letting your guard down and getting punched. And wow, another bad use of words. Sorry, I'm
Theme
so
of the
sorry.
night, huh?
So sorry. But damn, you let your guard down, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to, come out and play the right way, and that was important.
Ty, in a series that's also obviously the pace is a little bit down from what you're used to, how important has it been for you to control that tempo and find gaps, take advantage of transition plays and just be able to put them on their back heels?
Yeah, it's just important for us to, do our thing. And, I think the way games go, like game one, I felt like they dictated the tempo. And I would say the story of the last three games is that we have. And usually that comes from who can get enough stops to really play their style of play. And in the first game, they got more than enough stops. And I thought a lot of that was on us. We made a decision after game one that no matter what, we were going to dictate the pace on makes, on misses. And that's really how we've, created our identity the whole year. I think people know on makes, on misses, we're pushing the ball, and I think that that's important for us. So we've kind of got back to that in the last three games, and in a world, in a league that says, oh, you can't play fast in the playoffs, we don't really believe in that. We're going to be who we are and put our identity and our imprint on every game.
Myles, excuse me, what goes through your head in one of those intense moments where your teammate is kind of getting into a scuffle there in the first quarter, and I know you want to come to his defense, but at the same time, you don't want to jeopardize yourself. And it was obviously an intense moment for everyone out.
Yeah, it's hard, especially you're already jacked up enough as it is because it's the playoffs. And then I had my back turned, but then when I saw it escalate, my first instinct is protect your teammate. And the more than likely, you already know when something happens, security's going to run in there, teams going to run in there. Like, our security was on it and whatnot. But I am proud of Drew just, for standing tall. I mean, I think in those moments, it's an intimidation thing, and I just don't think it really works, very well with him. So he was able to stay in the game, which was very key. And, that Roo-Rah stuff, I mean, we've seen it before.
Jeremiah, thank you. Let's start with the third quarter there. Really felt like the turning point tonight. What changed coming out of the locker room here?
I think we just were had a little more like, we're quicker to be up on them and pick them up full court and be more attentive to what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that really opened up our offensive side, getting out in transition.
There was that big moment in the first quarter. You get tangled there with Bobby Portis. Can you take me through what really felt like a lot of maturity for you to not back down, but at the same time to be able to stay in this game, something that Portis wasn't able to do?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like he initiated it, got my pushback, and I was kind of like trying to stay in the game. I wasn't really trying to worry about fighting him. Like, playing a basketball game, it gets competitive, it gets physical.
I think fans have kind of enjoyed seeing this version of you. You're known as being cool, calm, and collected, but you're not going to take any nonsense either. I mean, is that kind of the mindset for you?
Yeah, I mean, I like to compete, and I'm not scared of backing down from anybody. I just want to help my team win, play physical, win games.
What's been the key to keeping your edge? It's something that Rick Carlisle has said you guys have needed to do here through these two home games, and you guys in Game 3 and 4 were able to do it.
I'm just understanding that it takes 4 games to win the series, and that no matter how we feel like it's looking right now, we have to bring that same demeanor every game and every play in order to win game.
Usually the toughest win in a series is the closeout win. Good news, you guys have a head start here, but Game 5, headed to Milwaukee, you'll be on the road, which makes it difficult too. What's going to be a key to trying to close this one out as soon as possible?
I think sticking together, doubling down on what has went well, and being the more aggressive team on both sides of the floor.
15 points, 9 assists tonight. Andrew Nembhard, big again in a Pacers win. Pascal, take me through the poise and the maturity you saw from this group to get a third straight victory, to do it against a Milwaukee team that, while shorthanded, clearly had a lot of motivation here tonight.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, obviously. We just got to be able to shut down all those emotions and focus on the game. Obviously, a lot of people in, a lot of people out. Like, I mean, it's pretty crazy, but I think we got to focus on the game and just continue to work hard as a team and and just focus on what we do, continue to do it at a high level, and not be focused on all the other stuff.
How do you feel like this team, you specifically, have handled with Milwaukee's adjustments? They've thrown a lot of different looks at you tonight. Not a flawless offensive night, but pretty close.
Yeah, no, I mean they're gonna look. It's gonna look different, you know. Like this is what the playoff is about. Like people make adjustments. There's things that, you know, that's what happens when you play a team. You know, I don't know how many times. So there's gonna be different things, and I think we just gotta continue to prepare the way we've been doing it, and just go out there and execute.
You know full well that typically the most difficult win in the series is the one to move on. You get a shot at it first on Tuesday in Milwaukee. What's it going to take here from this group to get a win to move on to the second round?
No, it's going to be hard. Obviously, we know the team we're playing against, a lot of experience on that side, and going back home, I'm sure it's going to be they're going to give everything that they have, and we got to do the same. Just focus on everything that we need to do, and just go out there with a business kind of like attitude, and just go try to try to get it done.
Wasn't far away from a triple-double here tonight. Pascal Siakam. We'll go back to you, JJ.
Let's go. Games like this, fans, people watching say, "Oh, they're out with two starters. Got to get it done. You got to win this game." But as a player, how challenging is it though when you go up against a team that is shorthanded, that you know you're going to get everything they got from them, right?
Yeah, no, they're going to play hard. They got professional on the other side, and I think just the extra stuff around the game, it could get you kind of out of focus. And I think it was important that we kind of just stay the course. And games are going to look different, and obviously they have different guys coming in and out, so you're going to get different shots from different people. So we got to be professional about it, and I think we did that well. Obviously it wasn't perfect, but no game is going to be perfect, so just got to continue to weather the storm and focus on being us.
6 players in double figures. Myles Turner, boy, did he come ready to play tonight. Give me your thoughts on what you saw from your teammate.
Yeah, no, he was exceptional. Just a lot of on both ends of the floor. Just playing with a lot of just maturity and force, which is what we need from him. Obviously, when we know he can make shots, but just being a beast out there on both ends. Yeah, he's been great, and just we need him to continue to do that.
Yeah, how big was that third quarter for you guys? Came out of halftime, they were hanging around, but boy, did you guys really step it up in the third. Give me your take on that.
Yeah, no, I think obviously just a different game, and I thought we was able to get stops in a row at some points, involving the crowd into the game, and there's a tough team on the other side, so it's not gonna be easy out there. So we just gotta keep fighting. Keep trying to find rhythm and stay together, find energy from each other, and just continue to fight.
Yeah, and what would be your message to the guys here on this team? I mean, you've won series before. You're so close. What's the focus going into Tuesday night?
Yeah, the job's not done, so we just gotta keep our focus and just know what we're getting into. It's gonna be hard. I think one of the coaches said that. That overtime game was hard, but it's going to be the easiest game that we played so far. So all these games coming in is going to be even harder. So that's the approach that we got to have, and just continue to fight and work hard.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
What was key in this game? Second half, you guys numerically were much better defensively and having that turnaround.
Yeah, I think kind of piggybacking off that, the 21-point quarter enabled us to kind of get out and, you hear me say it all the time, do what we do best, and that's get out and transition and run and get the crowd into it. And there was the possession where Myles got the dunk and the three, so it got the crowd involved in a big way, and that was from our defense.
Rick has talked continuously about even after wins and being up through winter series, you can't get high. You have to keep. How do you do that, especially going into a game 5 like this where you can close out a series?
Yeah, I mean, we know the atmosphere we're going to walk into. It's going to be rocking in there, and they're going to be ready. They played really well tonight, considering how many guys that they had out. They threw everything at us, and we knew it was going to be a very difficult game. So we just kind of got to go into that environment and stay together and just be ready.
T.J., the crowd was chanting Myles' name. He hit a couple back-to-back there. I think he's 7 for 9 from 3 on the night. I mean, just his importance to this win and what he did for you tonight? How do you kind of assess what he meant for you?
Not only tonight, he's been doing it all year. He's the anchor to our defense, and you know he can be a mismatch for a lot of teams. The way he's able to step out and make shots, and if not, just kind of get off it and go to the next action and be a presence at the rim offensively as well. He was obviously really good tonight, and you know, deserved that. You know, those fans calling his name. He played really well.
TJ, how endearing is it to see Andrew kind of stand up for himself, but then to still show the maturity to not get that second tech and to stay in the game and during that altercation?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has a toughness about him that you know creates an identity for us, and you know he, like you said, he's got to be smart to not get ejected out of the game, and you know, because he's very valuable to what we do. But he has a presence and a great defender, great ball handler, great shooter when he's open. So you know, I was glad that he did not get ejected. He played really well tonight, and we're gonna obviously need him to keep doing that for the rest of the playoffs.
And then in the fourth quarter, the way he was attacking the basket, I believe he had 3 layups in a row.
Yeah.
Just that aggressiveness, again, for someone his size, just what does that say about him and the toughness he has?
I mean, I feel like he kind of just lets the game come to him. He doesn't really force the issue. But when he's aggressive like that, our team takes a big jump. You know, I'm always telling him, or trying to at least, to you know stay aggressive, because that's when our team's at our best. You know, when he's looking to score and get himself going.
We talked about the importance of getting the crowd involved. Just how big a factor were they in these 2 games and really fueling you guys?
Yeah, I mean, these were the first 2 games I've played in this building, and incredibly loud. And they've been incredibly important to what, you know, having a home court is like in the playoffs. And, you know, they've really, you know, willed us to win these games, and we're very thankful for them.
You come in a lot and they go zone almost right away a lot of the times. Why does that change your approach in the way you attack and the rotational choices made around you with the rest of those lineups?
Yeah, I feel like if you pass the ball around the perimeter, that plays right into their hands. We've got to continue to attack gaps and get guys cutting in there and keep moving the ball. And I think we did a good job of that tonight.
The 3-pointers obviously were much higher percentage tonight. Is there anything you can attribute that to? Was it better shots or?
I mean, I feel like it's like the law of averages. You know, we haven't shot the ball well from 3. We were due to, you know, kind of break out for 1. You know, and we just got to continue to shoot the open ones.
Is that the best Myles dunk you've seen in person?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I had a good view, so it was pretty spectacular.
You went right to the crowd after that. I went in, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just me just trying to get the crowd involved. That's all.